Hey, By Thomas here. This doesn't look sketchy. All right, fire her up, Mr.Robert.
Let me tell you a little bit about this old planer. Back in late 80s, early 90s, a friend of mine had this old planer. He knew I had a sawmill. And he asked me one day, he said, "Robert, I got an old planer. If you'd like to take it up there and use it, you can." He said, "I've had it for years." I said, "I don't ever use it." So I said, "Well, I'd love to." So I went and got it, brought it up to my place, and I used it for 5 or 6 years, planed a lot of lumber with it. It was just a good old machine. It's an old machine, but it's a good machine. Probably a lot better than some of the newer stuff you can buy today, but it's not as fancy. It's just a good old plain lumber. That's what any of them will do, plain lumber. So I went and got it and I used it. Well, my life changed. I went in a different direction and I had to move, so I took it back to the man. Well, here a year or so ago, a couple of years ago, a year or so ago, he called me up one day. I was on a trip, going on a cruise somewhere, and he said, "Robert, this is Trace." He says, "You remember that old planer you used years ago?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, I'm going to clean my shop out." And he said, "I've never used it, not even since you brought it back." He said, "But I want to sell it." I said, "I'll buy it." I didn't even ask you what he wanted for it. I said, "I'll buy it." So I got a super good deal on it, just almost a steal. And brought it up here and had to do a little wiring on it. It sat there in the wire. You know how wires get a little brittle and deteriorate. I had to replace this wire off of the motor, and there's a control panel over here. I had to do a little work in there, but I got it all running good, and done a little adjusting and all on it. I just like it. It's a J.A. Fay Egan is what you see.
J.A. Fay Egan.
Egan Company.
Okay.
Yeah, that's who built it. They went into business in the 1830s. I figure this was built somewhere in the late 1800s to maybe 1920, somewhere in that era. I don't really know. There's no way to find it out. But
It's
I got all babbited bearings on it. I put a good heavy oil in there on them, and it's just great. So.
and it's OSHA approved.
Oh yeah, OSHA approved. You know what I say about OSHA? I'm a one-man show out here, and they just stay their butts out there on the highway.
Yeah, there's some finger grabbers on this thing. Fire up, Robert. Let's.
We'll just turn it on here. It's pretty safe. You just don't want to get too close to it.
Yeah, just don't fall into the. No, this is actually pretty cool, though. I mean, the engineering in this. Yeah.
It's not too loud.
We'll see. Yeah, there's no snipe on that for sure. Now, how heavy is this thing?
It'll cut 3/8.
How much does it weigh?
Yes.
No, yeah. That's pretty cool. And this funny thing is, this is a piece of black walnut that I probably cut for Robert years and years ago.
It does a good job.
It's like a scrap piece, but no, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's got some little hefty little wormy in there, but it does a great job. I like my old planer. I like old things.
Yeah.
Hey, I got an old.
You can relate to them.
I got my wife's old. I like her.
All right, folks. Hope you enjoyed this little short video. I thought that was something interesting when we saw this. I said, Robert, we got to do a quick little video on this. I know it's a different orientation of the video and everything, but still, that way you can see the full, setup here and everything.
It'll plane 24 inches. I actually have another one of these out here. I need to rebab some bearings in it, but it's a 25 inch, and it's probably half again bigger than this machine.
Yeah, that's a beast.
And it's a PTO driven planer.
Yeah, and this one here, like I said, there was no sniping whatsoever. I mean, that's obviously a really good deck and everything, but it's also cast iron made, you know, back like they used to and everything. This is built to last a few lifetimes. So, all right. We'll see you around. Thanks.